life. So we're going to be looking at how do you get your first $1,000. So the question is, how much is $1,000? So $1,000 for a lot of people is going to help them do a lot. But for some people, it's just going to be a side hustle. For some people, it's going to be a starting point. So I have done it. I think I made my first, that should be around $6,700, thereabout, sometime that's about 18 years ago. So I've done this countless times. So you can do the same. So $1,000 in tech, it's 100% possible. So one thing you need to also do is that you need to ensure that you achieve this, then of course you can now build with it. So we're going to look at, I have some notes here. I'm going to talk about mindset, very critical, very important. Then I'm going to tell you about 3 career paths or 3 income streams that you can maximize to be able to achieve that. Then we'll just talk about some kind of step-by-step roadmap. So my name is Victor. On this YouTube channel, I talk about tech, I talk about business, I talk about tech career. And if you're interested, do well to like, subscribe. And if you check my channel, you're going to see I have over 300 videos in different areas in tech. So I've been training, I've been mentoring people in tech for about 2 decades. So today we're going to look at how do you get your first $1,000. Now, we will talk about mindset, like I said, we'll talk about income path, we'll talk about step-by-step guide, like a roadmap. You need a roadmap. Then, of course, we need to, where do you find opportunities? Now, you have a lot of opportunities in several places. You have very simple experiences. You have experiences that are way top there. You have experiences and opportunities that you might need to build from start, then you maximize them. So where do you find those kind of opportunities? Then another thing we're going to discuss how do you scale up, right? So how do you scale up from $1,000 into something very significant? Now we do a recap, we'll do a Q&A session. So the very first thing we're going to be talking about is mindset. Now, depending on where you're watching me from, if you're watching me from Nigeria, $1,000 is going to be something. Let me see, $1,000 to, let's say, Ghana. If you're watching me from Ghana, $1,000 is somewhere around 10,850 Ghana cedis. If you're watching me from, let's say, South Africa, so this is going to be rand to rand. So that's about 17,816 rand. So if you're watching me from Nigeria, so this is going to be about 1.4 million naira. Now, so this is going to help you kickstart. This is going to help you get started. Very important. So the question is, how do you make your first $1,000 in tech? Now, let's begin with the very first thing. The very first thing is what? Is mindset shift. Now, you need to first understand that it is possible, because yes, making your first $1,000 can look like, okay, something that's very huge, something that's very big. No, the first $1,000 you're going to make online is going to be your hardest. I remember when I made my first 1 million naira, it looks like, oh, your bank account, you've never exceeded a million naira. Your bank account, you've never exceeded, let's say, 10,000 Ghana cedis. Your bank account, you've never exceeded, let's say, $2,000. It's going to be, it looks difficult. But the very first thing you have to have in your mind is that your first $1,000 online or in tech is going to be your hardest. Now, but you need to understand that after you've made your first $1,000 and you build a system around it, it now becomes very repeatable. So in this life, I'm going to share how you're going to make the first $1,000. Then how do you ensure that you can repeat that and make it very sustainable? Now, one thing I want to tell you is that you don't need to chase shadows. You don't need to chase big numbers or try to do something that is unattainable. You just have to keep everything very simple, and I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on how to go about that. Now, I started this live by telling you that I made my first 1,000. It was not even 1,000. It was about around $7,000, around 217. Let me use my calculator. 2025 minus 2007, 2008. That's about 18 years ago, right? So about 18 years ago, I made that much, and I've repeated this time and time again. So it's something that is very possible. Like I said, you don't need to chase huge numbers. You just need to build small wins and see how to build that into a good momentum. So if you're interested, you can type that in the comment section. If you're interested, I want to know how to make my first $1,000. Now, I'm trying to prepare my community. I'm trying to prepare my followers how to be able to achieve and do this for 2026. Now, I keep telling people around me that 2026 is going to be a very defining year for a lot of people. People have to make big decisions or small decisions that are going to have big impact. So you need to be very ready for 2026. So you can type yes in the comment section if you're interested, or if you are learning one or two. Now, like I said, your mindset have to be very robust. You have to have it in the back of your mind. At times, I don't even say the back of your mind. You have to have it at the center of your mind that to make $1,000, either as a side income, an additional income, or something that you want to do recurring every month is 100% possible. You need to have that in your mind, that mindset shift, right? You need to have that clearly stated in your mind that it is 100% possible. Once you've achieved that, then you cannot begin to take actions. Now, let's talk about 3 things that you can do. Let me just share a simple example of myself, what I do. For instance, I do training, I do consulting, I do mentorship around tech, around medical, around agro, around edutech. So these are the range of services that I offer. And I'm going to be sharing subsequent series how you can maximize. I tell people that most of the times you're not making enough money because you're not maximizing the skill set that you have. A lot of people have skill set, but they're not maximizing those skill set that they have. So they believe they need to learn something additional. They believe they need to learn something new. They believe they need to acquire a new skill set before they can start making money with the skill set they have. So a lot of people are in that like quagmire, like in that situation where they just feel that, kind of an imposter syndrome, where you just believe that, I am not enough, I don't have all the skill set to make $1,000. Every person is always able to make $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. It's all about how you pragmatically, how you systematically structure your revenue streams, how you structure your skill set to be able to create a system around that. Now, but when it comes to tech, I'm going to just share only 3 tech income paths. Now, why am I going to choose this tech income path? They are very simple. They can be explored by starters. If you're a starter, you can actually do that. So 1, I'm going to explore freelancing, then remote or part-time, then I'm going to look at product service income stream. So I'll explain each of them. Now, if you're on the live, you can let me know what you are into, then I will advise you and tell you how you can optimize that for freelancing, remote jobs, then of course product service income. So this is like 3 things you can do, or 3 different areas you can optimize. You can have up to like 10, you can have up to like 15, you can have up to like 20. It's all about you creating a system. Once you create a system, then you can optimize that system to maximize that cash flow. For instance, for myself, for 2026, I'm already building a strategy to cap up my monthly stream. It's all about creating a system. Hi, Blessing. Hi, Pelumi. Tell me what you are into so that I can adapt this life so that it's very beneficial to you. So the very first thing we're going to look at is freelancing. Now, a lot of people mistake freelancing. Now, two ways we can look at this is that you're freelancing or you are doing a full-time job. Now, a full-time job is always going to be, let's say, 8 hours, let's say from 9 to 5, from 8 to 4, from 10 to like 6 p.m. Now, you have, like I was advising somebody like, I think last week, I said, okay, while you're at work, after work, your spare time, your free time, right? Your spare time, your free time, you can optimize it. And if you build that for the next 3 months, you can create 3 awesome income stream. Now, one thing people don't also understand is that making additional income is not about doing so much work. It's about creating a system that can guarantee consistency. Consistency is very important. Consistency is very key when it comes to creating what we call traction. What do you call traction? You see, if you start doing something, if people know you that you are the go-to person for a particular product, for a particular service, for a particular consulting, or for a particular training or a particular product, it guarantees that every month, whether you do an advert, whether you don't do an advert, you're going to get clients. There are businesses that every month, like I can tell you for sure, me for instance, like 1 or 2 of my businesses, we don't need to do an advert, but we are sure that we're going to have new and fresh clients every single month. New and fresh clients every single month. So the question is going to be how? How do you ensure that every single month, whether you are freelancing, whether you're doing remote jobs, whether you're selling a product or whether you're selling a service, you can guarantee that you have clients? So it means that you need to start something, you need to be consistent about that thing, they need to build traction. A lot of people, you going to be very difficult to make your $1,000 and sustain it, because it's one thing for you to just, okay, after let's say 3 months, after let's say 4 months, after 6 months of hard work and labor, you make that $1,000. The question is going to be, can you sustain that? If you can sustain that, it means that you've built consistency, you've built traction. So I will attend to this particular concept before I round up today. So I've jotted it down. How do you ensure that you create consistency, you create traction, so that you can guarantee that every single month, every other month, you can have that revenue stream? Okay, somebody says, okay, I have graphics design skills. I'm also into crypto trading. I would like to do remote cybersecurity jobs. So we have 3 things. So this person have graphic skills, so crypto trading, then you have cybersecurity jobs. So what I'm going to do for you is that I'm going to check for cybersecurity jobs remote, and I'm going to help you know how to get cybersecurity remote jobs. So we trash that out. Then for crypto trading, most crypto trading, depending, you can be a day trader or you can be a scalper, you can be somebody, okay, that you trade per month. But if a very busy person and you're doing crypto, the best thing you're going to do is to be a day trader, right? So somebody that just trades for, let's say, 2-3 hours, or let's say 2 hours or 1 hour, 2 or 3 times in a day, and you're done with that. But for you to succeed in crypto trading, you have to ensure, like somebody was telling me last week, I said, no, you don't use your life savings to get into crypto. So what you can do is that as your major stream of income is giving you cash, you can start dedicating, let's say, $20 over a period of like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. After 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you've built $500, you've built $600. You can now start using that to trade crypto. Of course, because it's high returns and of course high loss. So even if you lose all the money, nothing is going to change, right? If you just say, okay, you take all of your savings and you start trading crypto, it's going to be very disastrous, because if you lose that money, you're going to start your financial journey from scratch. So the best way to do any high risk investment is to dedicate a portion of money every single week or every single month. save that up, then you invest. Most of the times, savings is not for the bank. Savings is actually for investment. You save that much, let's say $20. $20 should be roughly around, let me see. Hope somebody can hear me. I think I mistakenly muted the mic. If you can hear me, let me know. So can you hear me now? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, good. So like I said, you need to do what? You need to save up, let's say 20, 30, depending on what's convenient for you. Every week or every other week, you save that up within a short period of time. That is going to become like $500. I'll normally recommend that if you want to start trading either crypto or let's say FX, you want to do that at least from $500, so that if you have your stop loss or if you're going to be losing money, you are not losing, let's say, more than $20 every day. So if you divide 500 by 20, at least you have up to, I think you have up to like 20 days to go. So in those 20 days to go, if you make profit up to like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times, it's going to counter most of the losses that you're going to make. So you don't want to start trading crypto or trading, what's it called? FX with like $100, $50. No, you want to start from minimum 500. If you can start with 1,000, best. So that's that for crypto. Then of course, for your graphic skills, you're going to decide how you want to approach that. So I'm going to consider that in 3 ways. So freelancing, remote jobs, and of course product and service income. So let's take them one after the other. So the first one is freelancing. Now, freelancing, they are high level tech skills. Then they are intermediate level tech skills, or I can call them pro level, intermediate level, entry level. Now, I always advise a lot of persons that want to do tech or you want to make a lot of money from tech is that in as much as you target the high level income streams or the high level professional like DevOps, like cloud security, like AI, machine learning engineer, like mobile app developer, these are high paying tech skills. These high paying tech skills takes you 3, 2, 4, 5, 6 years to be very, very enterprise level efficient, right? Now, you cannot achieve that just in like 6 months. Anybody that tells you you're going to achieve that in 6 months is just lying to you. So even if you finish a training or an internship like 6 months or 4 months or 5 months or 1 year, you need to be able to now develop skill set, have portfolio that can speak for you. Because that's one thing with tech. In tech, what speak is not that I can. What it's going to be speaking for you, it's what you have done. So people will believe somebody that have done it compared to somebody that is saying he can't do it. So what are those simplistic, very entry level tech rules that you can systematically optimize for you to get $1,000 monthly? Or let's say your first $1,000. The very first one is web design and hosting setup. Now, if you go online, you're going to see countless, I mean in their thousands of businesses that need this skill set. Now, but let me give you an advice. You need to understand that for you to maximize web design and hosting setup for businesses, you don't want to do that as a regular guy on the street. Now, any web design, any hosting service, any graphic design skill that is going to make a lot of money is that one that a lot of people cannot offer. So I'll repeat myself. If you want to make a lot of money in, let's say, any niche or any area, you want to be offering services that are very well optimized, and not a lot of people are offering that service. So if you meet me as a business person, I have roughly, let's say, a team of 10 plus spread around in different parts of Nigeria. I run, like, let's say, like 3 offices. I have different businesses. Or let's say I just have a small shop, I have a boutique, and you meet me and tell me you want to do graphic design skills for me. I'm going to be interested. If you tell me, okay, I want to do a website for you, I'm not going to be interested. If you tell me anything of value, so if you're on your way to getting $1,000, your first $1,000, start thinking about whatever you can do that can guarantee value for the next person. What did I say? Anything that you can do that can guarantee value for the next person. You're a regular website designer, hosting setup, graphic designer. Will that help any business? The answer is no. What is going to help a business is that you can attract clients to them. That's number one. You can optimize their services. You can make them grow. You can make them scale. You can improve whatever they are doing. Once you can guarantee that, I can bet you, I've run businesses, different sort of businesses for the last 16, 17, 18 years. You will be paid. So if you are offering graphic design skills, you're offering web design skills, you are doing hosting setup, or you are doing, let's say, social media management for a company, what should you be promising? Now, in tech, normally we talk about value, we talk about promise. So what should you be promising? So you're promising something like, I am going to set up your online website and help you attract at least 5 to 10 businesses every month for your business. Everybody wants to listen to you. So nobody's interested in paying for a new website. Nobody's interested in paying for a new website redesign. Nobody's interested in paying for a graphic design guy, or someone that can use Canva, or someone that can use social media management. No. If eventually you are paid for that, I can bet you after 2-3 months you're going to be fired. Now, at times it happens in a subconscious way, in the sense that you are hired for, let's say, $100, $200, $300, $400 to do social media management, or to set up a website, or to set up emails for a company. The point is that if that does not bring value to the company, within 2-3 months, you're going to be fired. It's as simple as that. So you must package your service in a way that ensures that that business can't do without that particular service. So stop selling services that people can do without. Start selling services, you bundle your services in such a way that the business cannot do without. So take, for instance, there was a time I went to somewhere to eat. This is like some years ago. It's a new restaurant, very, very nice restaurant. Or will I call it, okay, not a restaurant, like an eatery, like just like the Mr. Biggs, the what's it called, the Chicken Republic, the Mr. Fans, and or the what's it called, Drumstick, those kind of setup. Now I ate. I don't know, maybe because it was a new place. Do you know what happened? The protein very sizable. The soup to swallow. The soup sizable. Everything was just very giving. The environment clean. Do you know what I was proposing? I just asked for, I want to see the manager, I want to see the owner of the place, if she's around, or if he's around. Okay, they said she's around. Now, what was I promoting? I promoted, we're going to deliver a website for this business. We're going to do social media marketing, SEO for 6 months, and we're going to do that free. What we need from you is that we want you to give us this space, 2 hours every Saturday for 6 months, but everything we're going to use from that particular space for that 2 hours, we're going to pay for it. That's so that We're going to pay for drinks, we're going to pay for snacks. If anybody is hungry, they're going to buy food and they're going to eat. Guess what happened? So if you're following, make sure you like. You can share this stream to as many that are interested in making their first $1,000. So I'm sharing insights on how can you ensure that you create repeatable pattern, land your first $1,000, then of course make it repeatable. So guess what happened? She immediately said yes. Why? Now, I ensured that the period we're using that facility was her off-peak period. I ensured that the value of what we're delivering, this was like 4-5 years ago, was far above 500,000-700,000 naira. That's roughly around $500, and it was an irresistible offer. She just said yes. And guess what happened? I went back to the office. I told the team in the office, okay, prepare a proposal letter, like a contract, that you're going to be doing a website, 6 months marketing free for this particular company. They're going to give you this space for us to run most of our SME small businesses, small business free training sessions for the next 6 months. They gave her, she signed, and that was it. Guess what happened? People will attend those free seminars, free workshop, because they were hands-on sections we were holding for small businesses on how to do marketing, on how to grow their business, on how to do a lot of things that has to do with small businesses, improving their bottom line and all of that. You know, the event was free. So when people come into that event space, they'll be giving snacks, they'll be giving drinks. Of course, you know that if you're going to pay for that kind of venue, you're going to spend quite a lot. So the amount that will be spent for snacks, drinks, and sweets, and let's say coffee or tea or whatever, is going to be like 1/10 of the cost of actually paying for that space. So people will come for the workshop, it's free, they get value, they are fed, or they're giving snacks, they're giving drinks, they're giving water. And we had quite a lot of return businesses from those multiple engagements we have. So I said this to say this, that you need to be able to guarantee value anytime you want to attract your clients. So the very first example I gave was website design, hosting setup. But like I said, you're not going to sell website design, you're not going to sell marketing like I'm going to do marketing for you, then you pay me money. No. You're going to bundle your service in such a way that you are trying to give the client value that he needs. Then in return, you're going to get paid for it. So most businesses are going to need things like clients. Every business needs clients. Every business wants to grow. Every business wants to be efficient. So these are the three I can put off my head. I can get off my head. So every business needs clients. So anything you are offering that cannot give a business new client, I can bet you they might not pay for it, or they might do it with it, or they can fire you at any time. Any service that you're offering that can help a business grow, then you can make money from that. Any service that can make a business efficient, or any service that can help a business make impact. Now, there's some kind of services that you're going to offer to a business, to a client. It might not be necessarily them making money, but they can be seen out there as a go-to company for stuff. Okay, somebody's asking a question and say, what if the business is just a front and it doesn't want to grow? Please ask your question again so that I can understand that. I don't understand what you mean by a business is just a front. It doesn't want to grow. So clarify so that I can understand what you mean by business is just a front. So a business might want to make impact. So a time comes in when a business, yes, might need more money, might need to do some certain things, but what they're looking at is that they want to be seen outside as a brand for a particular thing. So if you can help a business achieve that, then you can get constant money from that. Now, another thing I also want to state is that when you are proposing your services, ensure that it's something that can be repeatable. So maybe another time or another life, I'm going to talk about how to ensure trade secrets, how to ensure that when you are consulting or doing tech for your clients, you want to ensure that you can actually do that for a long time. You sign contracts that you don't just start doing stuff and they get to understand what you're doing and they kick you off. We'll discuss that maybe in another life. So like I said, web hosting, data visualization, or research. Now, when it comes to research, I'm a big fan of research. I'm a big See now, these are entry level roles that you can do, and you can have 3-4 clients every single month, and you can repeat that. If a client pays you, let's say between 70 to like $150 for each of that particular service, and you times that by 3, this is a revenue stream for you. This is a revenue stream. Okay, let me answer Samson. Okay, the business doesn't want to go. Okay, laundry. So the business is into laundry. Now, what kind of tech service can you offer to a laundry firm? So they do clothing, they wash clothes. Simple. Like I said, I mentioned 3 things. I mentioned impact, client, grow, efficient. These are 4 things and more that every single startup, every single business, even government, for instance, government might not want to make money, or they might want to make money in some aspects, but they might want impact. They might want to be seen. So if you can ensure that they can be seen, then you can make money from it. So don't actually look at the service that you are offering to the client. Look at what the client is going to be getting from you. So once you look at it from that perspective, that's why you see a lot of people selling a lot of services that nobody's interested in, or they are packaging their business or their services in such a way that nobody's interested in, right? So if you package your business in that way, it's going to be very difficult for you to grow. So for a laundry business, every laundry business, they want a way that can ensure that they can have somebody, let's say, wash the entire house maybe every week. So in your service, how do you bring tech into ensuring that this laundry business attain more clients? Can you guarantee that they can get 20, 30, 40 clients every month? If you can guarantee that for them, even if you achieve 50%, I can bet you that you are going to be on the payroll of that laundry firm. Take for instance, you do a website, you do marketing for that website, you make sure that you have leads, you package their services with their guidance on discount on laundry. I can bet you that they will keep paying either a commission or they'll keep paying a fixed amount to you every single month to ensure that that happens. And guess what is going to happen? They're going to always ask you, we want to do that thing that you did the previous time so that we can ensure that we are making clients. So somebody says you get your money from an undisclosed source and use the business just as a front to push the money through. Okay, so this is for a laundry. Okay, so this is what this is being fraudulent now. Now, so somebody is making like maybe from, he said undisclosed, or maybe it's fraudulent kind of money, and the person is just trying to, not even a laundry firm now, so the person is just trying to launder money and just have, let's say, business just to like put up a front that, okay, this is the actual business the person is doing it. Of course, you don't have any business with such kind of business. I've been long enough in the game to understand that for every evil that you do in the tech space, it's never ever going to be consistent. Here we are talking about how are you going to create income, scale the income, and make the income sustainable, then get to a point, we're going to have that live stream later on, where you can now automate your entire revenue stream so that you no longer need to now work. Systems are now ensuring that you make your income stream. But for now, what we're discussing is that how do you even achieve the first set of $1,000? Okay, so I've already talked about laundry. Yes, finally understood my question. So, hope I have answered you. Yeah, so I've talked about laundry. So, if it's money laundry, so I don't have any business with that. But once you're talking about a laundry business, package your service in such a way that they can achieve more clients, or they can be more efficient, or they can do home deliveries, they can get people to like make their cash flow consistent, then I can bet you're going to make a lot of money. So I talked about web, I talked about data visualization, cybersecurity assessment. Now let me talk about cybersecurity assessment. Cybersecurity assessment is a very important area in tech. Why? Let me share a story. There was a time I was doing because I do a lot of business development for startups, for businesses that want to get into business. I want to do a business plan. I want to like know what it takes for me to run my business and all of that. So I do a lot of that. I've done that over the years. So there was a time I was doing this particular business development for a firm. Then the client was to pay a particular amount for that research work and all of that. So the client was kind of not ready because it was a custom service. Now, what happened was that we wanted to also still serve this client. So I just did a simple Google and found a company that had a plan that's already written, but it's not customized. So maybe say how to start up a fintech in Nigeria, or how to start up a laptop repair store, or how to start up a school, or those kind of stuff. Now, I told the client that, okay, there's a company that I've seen from my research, they seem to be doing this and they're doing it well. I think you can use their services. It's cheaper, though it's not custom. It's just a PDF, a book research that's already been done. You can pay for that, and I think you should be fine. If you need further consulting from us, we can get to talk, because we've been consulting for that client from almost like 4 or 5 years. Now, guess what happened? The client delayed. Then I think I was trying to deal with another business again. So what happened, once I searched on Google, I saw that company again. Now I clicked on the company's website. Lo and behold, the website, it's hacked. How do you know a website that is hacked? Let me show you. Just a second. So, hacked website. So you're going to know a website is hacked. You are going to know a website is hacked anytime you see this image when you search on the website. So once you see this kind of image, right? Once you see this kind of image, if you've seen this kind of image before, let me know in the comment section. If you visited the website and you see this kind of stuff, let me know. So you will see something like the site ahead contains harmful programs. You see something like this, the site ahead might attempt to install a dangerous program on your Mac, on your PC. They might want to take your photos, your password. You see something like this. What this means is that the website is compromised. And Google have responsibility to protect you and the audience. So what Google is going to do is that Google is going to blacklist the site. So when Google blacklists the site, it's going to start appearing like this. Maybe if you try it on, let's say, Firefox, it might open, or on some browser it might open, but most browser on Google Chrome, you start seeing something like this. That means the website has been blacklisted. And there are step-by-step process on how to get back a website that is blacklisted back on track. So most of my students doing cybersecurity, they will understand this process. Also on the channel, I have a complete playlist on how to fix a hacked website. Now, do you know there are several businesses that have websites? Because you have a lot of website designers. All they do is just to pick up a template, design something here and there, and they just push it online. You even have graphic designers, they are not creative. All they do is just pick up one template, design something, and just push it. So you have a lot of, even in this age of AI, you can build an AI website in 2 minutes. Most of those websites are vulnerable. Then you have a lot of businesses and they have their websites hacked, they have their website vulnerable. Do you know that your business can just be to do cybersecurity assessment, cybersecurity information security policy, or do cybersecurity or website security fix? I can bet you can get like 5-6 different businesses every single month. Now let me go back to my story. What did we do? So once we saw something like this, of course it's something we've done severally over the years, we just wrote to the company. Imagine we started looking for the company because we don't know this particular company. We started looking for this company. We found them on Facebook where they were trying to, maybe people paid money to their account for services. They were trying to say, okay, who paid so amount of money for so service, please inbox us, because their website was down. And if a business is driven technology wise, and they run most of their stuff from their website or maybe any of their social media accounts, and that is hacked, I can bet you they will pay any amount to make sure that website get back on track. Now, let me just give you a simple tip. If you are into websites that are hacked, you can recover them. If you are into Facebook, Instagram account recovery, you see, these two things I mentioned now, they are high paying gigs. Why? Most businesses that are established, most businesses that are online, that have their website presence, once this thing happens, they are typically grounded. I will show you why. Now let me show you something. Now if you go to a website like Whois, for instance, now so this is what the URL looks like. So you just go to Whois, you just go to whois.com/whois. If you go there, you will see something like, type your name there. If you type saltechventures.com, right? If you type saltechventures.com, what are you going to see? You're going to see that this is one of our websites. It was registered in 2010. It's going to expire sometime in December. So this is it 10 or 15? So this is a 15-year-old website. Now, tell me what's going to happen if this website gets attacked or somebody attempts to like hack the website, or this website is down due to some vulnerabilities. I can bet you this business is going to pay anything to make sure that website is going to be up. Now, guess what this client said? Once we got their contact, we contacted them and said, okay, we saw your website is down. This is something we can fix for you. Once we're done with it, you can actually pay us what you feel like. Now, guess what they said? They said, okay, I will just send a message. They replied and said that their website designers have tried that, their hosting company have tried to fix it, they cannot fix it. And yes, because most of those developers, most of the website designers you have around, they just use templates, they just know how to do drag and drop, they just fix things. When it comes to site security, they cannot. So that's an area. Remember what I said before? I said if you want to make a lot of money and it's going to be long term, you have to ensure that the money you are making or the niche you are into is not an oversaturated field. If you're in an already saturated field, you have to set a particular value that your client or your business cannot do without. If you are learning something from the live chat, do well to like and let me know in the comment section. Let me know in the comment section what you've learned so far. We spent the last 45 minutes. Let me know what you have learned so far. So like I said, you're not just trying to tell your clients that you want to set up a website for them or whatever. You're trying to recover a hacked website, a hacked Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, any of those social media accounts. You want to be able to recover it for people, and I bet you they're going to pay $50, $100, $200, and all of that. Why? Because it's a very critical, it's a very important skill set. Now, you can do this for any kind of service that you have. The most important thing is just make sure that you package your service in such a way that your client cannot do without. Okay, let's talk about the next thing. Let's talk about remote jobs. Now, when it comes to remote jobs, two things I want to say. For you to do a remote job or for a company to hire you remotely, there are a few things you want to do. A lot of people say remote job, remote job, remote job, remote job, but a lot of people are not ready for a remote job. I'm going to show you now and pick up, let's say, 2-3 remote jobs for, let's say, a web designer or a developer, and maybe cybersecurity analyst, and maybe, say, a digital marketer. If you want to succeed in the tech space and you want to go into remote jobs, what you need to do is to look at 50 to 100 remote jobs in the area that you're interested in. Ask yourself, do you meet the requirements for these jobs? If you cannot, pick out all the areas that you are deficient in, develop those skill sets for the next 6 months, come back, then you'll be ready for remote jobs. I don't know if anybody understood what I just said. Remote jobs are not for boys, especially if you want to do it and do it big. You need to ensure that you have the skill set for the remote job. And how do you do that? Let's say you want to become a cybersecurity analyst and you want to do that remote. So you go to Google. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to do something like this. So let me just show you my screen. So I can say something like, let's say, cybersecurity analyst. Just a second. So cybersecurity analyst jobs. I will show you my screen in just a second. So watch my screen now. So hope everybody, you can see my screen very well. Hope you can see my screen. If you can see my screen very well, let me know, please. If you can see my screen, let me know. So I want to get like 4, 5, 6 remote jobs. Let me say, let me just say 2 remote jobs. 2 remote jobs for, let's say, cybersecurity analyst, for data analyst, I also want to get a remote job for, let's say, somebody that is going to do. Okay, let me see if I can adjust. Can you see it better now? Okay, good. So cybersecurity analyst, data analyst, and let's say we want to get into somebody that's going to be into social media manager. Now, you see, if you just get to Google and you just type cybersecurity analyst job near Abuja, or let's say near Lagos. Okay, let me start from Abuja because I'm in Abuja currently. Now, you see, if you tap on jobs, you're going to see a lot of jobs. So remember the goal, what we said is that we want to get 3 or 4 jobs of what our interests are when it comes to remote. So I'm going to say remote, right? Then once we get those jobs, we want to ask ourselves, what is the employer requesting for? For me, when I advise my students, my mentees, I say get up to 20. If you're watching from Canada, if you're watching from US, if you're watching from the UK, if you're watching from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, wherever you're watching from, some remote jobs are going to demand that you live in a particular country because of certain things. Let's say payroll issues, the kind of data information you're going to be accessing, data rights of their clients, the clients they are servicing, or the clients they are consulting for. So you have different types of remote jobs. So that the remote jobs that are You could do it from anywhere. There are remote jobs you have to be in a certain country to be able to do those remote jobs. There are remote jobs that a company is just going to employ you, let's say for contract. I think maybe we'll do another live session for just remote jobs. So I'll go deep into the different types of remote jobs and the kind of remote job that you can start with as a beginner. Okay, now let's say remote cybersecurity analyst jobs near me. So this is remote for Africa. So cybersecurity governance and risk analyst. So this is a very simplistic entry-level role. So we'll open it. Cybersecurity analyst, cybercrime defense. So this is a little bit tougher because it's going to be needing somebody that can make decisions. I will open this. This is Coinbase. So this is a global firm. GRC analyst, okay, principal international security analyst. So this is like an intermediate level role. I will open that. Cyber security entry level position. I will open that. Then cybersecurity specialist, IT specialist, security engineering, remote job, okay, lead, mentor, data less. Okay, this is an entry level stuff. Also offensive security, apply now. Okay, now we're going to open and check each of those ones that we looked at. Now, so I'm going to see how to apply. So this is the first one here. Now, what you want to do is that you want to check the details that is required by the company. So this one is saying it is Telecommute Lagos. Now you have a lot of scam remote jobs. So you want to ask yourself, if this is a real company, you want to make sure that they have an address. You want to make sure that so you see a lot of people, they're going to post jobs. So Telecommute company. Because in the live session where I'm going to talk about remote jobs, I'm going to also tell you how to do verification, because you have a lot of scam companies, right? A lot of scam companies, they are not real. They will act like as if they're real companies. So all the companies that you want to apply for, you want to make sure that they are legit companies, they are registered companies, they are in CAC or they whichever country they are domiciled, they are properly registered. Because I can bet you, you can work for 30 days for free and you're not going to be paid. I can bet you that. So you want to be very careful. Okay, so this one says Telecommute Lagos. I can't say anything, but I will check later on. Let's just open the details. So we're also going to check the next one. The next one is security analyst cyber defense. Security analyst cyber defense. Apply. So it just is little detail. Then we click on the link where we're going to apply the job. Just hold on, this will load. Then the next one is going to be principal international security GRC analyst. Okay, this one have full description. Good. Now let's look at them. Let's examine this particular one. So if you see my screen now, this is between $80,000 to $240,000 per year. So if you look at this very well, so this is a GRC role. GRC is governance, risk, and compliance. So let me just scan through it. So this is by Coinbase. So Coinbase is these guys that hold different types of coins, Bitcoin, whatever kind of coin you could transfer, you could do all of that. Now, see, requirement is 10 years of experience in security and technology governance, 4 years experience working with financial services, experience working in cloud native environment, track record of implementing all of those GRC frameworks, prior experience working closely with auditors. Now, you see, you should have a BA or BSc. You should have one or more of the following certification: CISSP, Certified Information Security Manager, CISA, Security Auditor, CRICS, that's RICS, or other relevant certification. Now, if what you want to do is security analyst, so you've seen for one, So if you want to go into GRC, what you should do that you should look out for GRC jobs. Let's say 10, 15, 20 remote jobs that are GRC based. Look at all the things they are looking for. If you have not met them, put them in your to-do, put them in your game plan and work towards them for the next 3-4 months. Once you've achieved that, then you can now start applying. Let's look at this entry level full what's it called? So this is $20,000 to $13,000. This is just like a part-time job or like an entry-level internship kind of stuff. So what do they want you to do? Monitor, analyze security alerts to identify potential threats, conduct regular security assessment. This is very, very straightforward, very, very simple job. Typically nothing required. If you've taken any cybersecurity certification, if you've done at least 20-30 hands-on labs in your cybersecurity training or learning, if you have a portfolio, if you have journaled your journey. Now when it comes to remote job, I will just talk about this before I move on. When it comes to remote jobs, you want to ensure that you have a proper CV. You want to make sure that your LinkedIn is optimized. You want to make sure that you have your journal of your journey. I'll explain that. You also want to make sure that you have certification. Then you also want to make sure that you have, the last one is proof of work. You see these 5 things, if you sort them out, then you are now ready for remote jobs. Now, it doesn't mean if you don't have all of these 5 things, you cannot land a remote job. I am telling you what is going to increase your chances. You should have a CV. So all your CVs should be adapted for that particular job. These days we are in the age of AI, so you can actually do that. You can have your CV, you can put the job description, let's say on Gemini, ChatGPT, or any of those AI platforms. You paste your CV that you have that's already optimized, paste the job about the job and the job description, then ask AI to like optimize your CV for this particular role. Every CV that you send to your employer should say that you can actually do that particular stuff. That's how it works. So you should have a CV. So depending if you're applying in the UK firm, the US firm, in the Canadian firm, for a Nigerian company, the area where you are applying to, which should tell how your CV should be. So you should use those CV guidelines and templates. Now, LinkedIn should be optimized. When we do our live session for remote jobs specifically, then we'll address that. Because most employers will go do what we call background check. They will do some kind of investigation. They will see if what you are saying in your CV is actually what you have in your LinkedIn. Just yesterday, as a Comtia partner, Comtia was asking for some things for some of their partners. They asked us to apply for some things. They gave us a link, and I did a particular application. They asked for LinkedIn. Now, there are some things I had in my LinkedIn page that I have not updated. I had to go back to LinkedIn, make sure I updated that thing, because for them to sign me up for that particular level of collaboration, they will do that verification. And if they do that verification and it is false, you're going to be dropped. I've had instances where I'm interviewing somebody for a role. What the person is telling me in the CV is different from what the person have online. So is it that you're trying to be double standard, or you are not who you say you are, or you just prepared that CV with an AI platform and you're trying to get a job? Nobody wants to gamble that, right? So let's look at the next one. So, okay, I mentioned CV, I mentioned the LinkedIn optimization. So please, somebody should drop that in the live chat. I talked about journal. So when I mean journal in terms of remote job, you see, recruiters want to be sure that this thing you said you have in your CV is actually true. And one way to prove that is to have a journal. What do I call a journal? On your LinkedIn, or maybe on your Facebook or your Twitter, depending on which platform you decide to. LinkedIn is best for professional in the professional circle. So LinkedIn is more appropriate. Or you can have a small website of yours, or you can have a Medium profile. Most of our students, when we train them, we tell them to open a Medium account, ME. So let me tell you what it looks like. No need of saying ME. medium.com. So this is what LinkedIn looks like, right? Medium.com, human stories and idea, a place to read, write, and deepen your understanding. Start reading, right? So you're going to see that you have a lot of stories. If you start saying something like, let's say, how to get started in cybersecurity, let's say Medium, right? You're going to see a story sharing how they got into cybersecurity. So typically, okay, this is something Omolora Esther Hamzat. Okay, getting started in cybersecurity. So you see, this person is journaling her career in cybersecurity. This person posted in 2022. Now, if this person is applying for a role now, we can do a background check and see that actually, truly, this person started doing this stuff as far back as 2022. The point is that you must kind of show some kind of proof that you have been in this journey. Right? You must try to show some proof. So all it just takes for you is to register an account. Once you register your account, you can start posting your story. So what should you be journaling? You should be journaling your projects. You should be journaling all the things you are learning. You should be journaling maybe the challenges you are facing. You should be journaling the problems you are solving in tech. If you're into graphics, you should be doing your your mock-ups, your user stories. You should be doing all of those kind of things. If you're into visualization, if you're into project management, if you're into cybersecurity, whatever you're into, you can be journaling all of those things, and that shows you have a track record. So you always want to do that. Then certification is so important. Now, your certification can get you into the door, but what is going to ensure that you can keep the job is your skills. Certification plus skills equals to a secure job. I've had several instances where people are just going to say, okay, I need somebody that can do this, and also have certification in this. The certification is not a big deal, but you also want to make sure that you invest in it and have validity to your skill set. Certification, what it does is just validate your skill set. If you check my channel, make sure you've liked and you subscribe. I have over 20 playlists on different kind of courses, free certifications, paid certifications you can take to validate the skill set that you have. Then the last thing, you want to have proof of work, right? So that is where portfolio comes in. So you cannot say you're a website designer and you cannot point to 2-3 websites that are up and running that you have. You cannot say a cybersecurity analyst, you cannot point to 2-3 companies you've helped to either secure, created information security documents, help them deploy secured stuff. You cannot point. You cannot say that you're a digital marketer. You cannot point to 3 clients that you are doing digital marketing and they have sales that you're increasing, whatever area you're into. You cannot say you're a data analyst and you can't point to whatever you're doing. You must have proof. Proof is what tells us that you are game. If you don't have proof, sorry, you are not ready for tech. You must ensure that you have proof. So I've mentioned 5 things. I have CV, I have LinkedIn optimization, I have journal, I have certification, I have proof of work. Those 5 things are very important. When I discuss the remote life, how to get started in remote jobs, we will discuss that. So we looked at those jobs. So that's just one thing I want to bring out. You want to look at those jobs, look at the certifications they're asking for, then make sure that you meet those requirements. If you don't meet those requirements, you want to ensure that you tidy them up. But what are you going to be doing while you are trying to get ready for a remote job? So what are you going to be doing while you are getting ready for remote job? So it's a huge question. What are you going to be doing while you're getting ready for intermediate or professional level remote jobs? Now, I'm going to discuss okay, I have my outline. Okay, let me talk about product service income stream. Product service income stream. So you can sell your solutions, you can sell digital tools. I know someone that is an accountant, all she sells is just templates. How people can plan their finance, how people can do all of those kind of stuff. So you could sell your stuff, you could sell solutions, you could solve anything that can solve problem. You can have a cybersecurity checklist for organizations. You can build information security policy documents for companies. You can do startup projects. You can create dashboards as a data analyst. There's several things you can do. The goal is that you want to actually solve a problem. Once you can solve a problem, then you're good. Now, what's your roadmap like if you want to make $1,000? First, pick a profitable skills, and you don't need to do something new. From wherever you are, you want to stay true with whatever you are and build on that. Like I said earlier on, one of the things that make a lot of people don't succeed is not because they cannot do stuff, but because they are not consistent enough. And you need consistency to build traction. What did I say? You need consistency to build traction. If you're consistent enough, then you will build traction. Right? Let me get the dictionary meaning for traction before I explain. So business traction is measurable progress a company makes improving its market viability and growth potential. It is tangible proof that a product or service is resonating with customers. Take for instance, you say you're a web developer. At least every 2 months or 3 months, you should be developing projects. That's traction. If after 3 months you've not developed a single site, then you're not a developer. You're not gaining traction. You're not gaining approvals. If you say you're a cybersecurity analyst and you are not solving problems in terms of security, then you're not. If you say you're a data analyst, if you say you're a DevOps engineer, whatever field that you are into in tech, you must be able to show traction. And the only thing that can help you gain traction is consistency. Right? Consistency. So what are the kind of things that can ensure that you have traction? First one is user acquisition, engagement, revenue, conversion rate, customer retention, market penetration. People having intention that they want to do stuff with you. Like from next month, from November, we're going to start an internship that's going to be on data, cybersecurity, cloud, IT project management and BA, then digital marketing, SEO, and affiliate marketing. So we're starting that internship from this weekend. So if you're interested, let me know in the comment section. So we're going to have a live series on weekend to let people know about how we're going to run the internship. It's going to run for like 3 months. It's going to be training, internship, jobs, how to fine tune. Most of these things I'm discussing, we're going to do them hands-on. So letters of intent. So if you say you want to do something, are people showing interest? If nobody shows interest, it then means that you don't have validation yet, right? You need validation. So you need to pick something that is profitable. You need to pick something that people want. You don't need to pick that. Life is not about passion. Passion is so important, but passion is not everything. You have to build something that frustrates you, something that you don't like. And if you don't like that, that means a lot of people don't like that particular thing. Then of course, then you cannot make impact. Then you cannot make income from that. That's how it works. It's not about I'm passionate about that. If you're passionate about something and that thing does not frustrate a lot of people, that means they're not ready to. Nobody's going to be ready to pay money for that. So pick any profitable skill or build any profitable skill: web, cybersecurity, data, cloud, marketing. The secret is not learning everything. The secret is not learning everything, but it is monetizing one skill quickly. You can have a long-term plan, but you must monetize the skill set that you have currently so that you can grow with that. You need to build a portfolio, right? You need to build a portfolio. I've talked about portfolio shortly. In the weekend session, we're going to discuss that in great detail. People need to see. If you tell me, okay, Mr. Victor, now I want to set up a website, I can give you like 100 links. If you say, Mr. Victor, I want you to help us, our website is hacked, I want you to help us secure it, I can give you like 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 testimonials of sites that are hacked that will fix. If you say, okay, Mr. Victor, I want you to help me do this research work or visualization for my NGO or for my business, I can show you samples. That's what you call portfolio. It builds trust. Testimonials, portfolio, they build trust. You must start building that from day one. If you don't build that, then you're not in for a long game. People pay when they can see what you can do. People don't pay because you say you can do stuff. People pay because they can see what you can do. Sorry. Nobody's going to pay you because you say you can do something. You're always going to be paid for what. It's even better that you share with somebody what you have done. I tell my students, it's not about what you can do, it's all about what you have done. People pay when they can see what you can do. So please start building testimonials, start building stuff. And when you're starting up in your career, one of the first things you want to do is not to go about the large cash. You want to build trust. You want to build portfolio. Once you've built that, then you can stop doing that and now go for the cash. It's a strategy. When I mentor my students, I tell them the very first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clients that you have, it should not be about the money. Yes, you're interested in the money, but that should not be your driving force. What should be your driving force should be your building your portfolio. Imagine you have 2 people. The first person says is a cybersecurity analyst. This first person have 5 clients that he has worked for. He has testimonials for them, and there's proof of what he has done. Then he has maybe 1 or 2 certifications. This guy promises heaven and earth. He said he can do this, he can do this. There's no proof, there's no certification. Guess what? He's going to be gone. You will rather pick this person than this particular person. Then build your portfolio, create your offer, right? Create your offer. Now, when we hold our next live session, the particular live session I'm going to be discussing on remote jobs, the remote job economy. So I'm going to schedule that live for sometime within the week or maybe weekend, depending on how my schedule permits me. I'm going to be talking about the remote job economy. Then we're also going to be talking about, let's say, scholarship. I have one of my old students that we're supposed to be live last 2 weeks, but I got very busy, so I'm going to bring him on. We're going to do a co-live session to educate you on how you can get scholarships in terms of tech career-based kind of maybe PhDs or masters. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, let me know in the comment section. We're already arranging that. We'll have those kind of live sessions. So in our next live section, we're going to talk about how do you scale from your first 10,000 and now grow that and now improve that. Don't forget, whatever amount that you have, you need to put a good amount of that into building your brand, getting more knowledge, gaining more traction and marketing. So you need to push yourself out so that people can see that this is what you can do. If you make $100, you want to make sure that $10 to $15 of that particular amount goes back to marketing yourself or marketing your brand or marketing your computer. I say computer, managing your advertising your company, right? If you make $100, 10-15% should go back to SEO, should go back to marketing, should go back to branding, should go back to skill development, because that's what makes you better. So you want to reinvest. You don't want to get all the money, and that cannot help you to be consistent. Anything that's going to keep you going, keep you consistent, you want to make sure that you reserve a particular percent of your cash for that. Then you want to systemize. I'm going to talk about this more in the remote class I'm going to hold. Then another thing you can do is to teach. You can train others. Share your experience, share your expertise. Now you're not paying for this session. Share experience. On my channel, I have I think 3 years ago, I was training for a European company. I had to train a lot of people from different parts of the world. I was consulting for them for a few years, and I found that it was very difficult for me to get people to understand tech. That's the reason why I started the channel. If I want to mentor you on cybersecurity now, it's easy for me, for instance, because on my channel, I have over 5-6 courses that are just cybersecurity with hands-on labs. So what I'm going to be doing with you in class is just going to be mentorship. If it's ethical hacker, there's something there. If it's penetration testing, there's something there. If it's digital forensic, there's something there. If it's, let's say, beginner cybersecurity stuff, there's something there. If it's threat management, there's something there. If it's data, if it's web, if it is, most of the skill set I have, I've shared those resources online. So that's going to help you to build your brand. Then build your brand, right? You should be known as somebody that does a particular thing. Nobody should be asking for somebody and they cannot tell where to place you. Okay, time for questions. If you have questions, let me know. If you have questions, let me know. Just 5 minutes for questions, and we call it a day. So the next live session is just going to be dedicated to remote jobs. So I'm going to be streaming from my PC. Then we're going to look at remote jobs. How do you apply for them? How do you prepare for them? How do you ensure that you can get them? The 2 or 3 I opened today, you see that if I ask a lot of people that, let's say, are into the particular roles that we type for, most people, like I said, most people are not prepared for those roles. So in that particular live session, we're going to discuss just squarely on remote jobs. So a little recap. Understand that it starts with a mindset. You need to have a mindset that it is possible. Then you need to look at lowest hanging fruits. Then you're not interested in the big box. You want to have easily repeatable stuff, and like I said, you want to ensure that you provide value. Is the value that can guarantee your cash flow. Then you want to have a roadmap. Your roadmap is going to be that you're going to select a skill set, you're going to build a portfolio, you're going to create an offer for your clients, and your offer, like I said, must be something that can provide value. If it cannot provide value to your clients, then you can land a client. Then in the subsequent section, we're going to talk about how do you scale from $1,000 and scale that and make that repeatable. Or how do you handle multiple streams of income remote? So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to pick, I've already created a draft for that. I'm going to pick 5 tech areas and pick how you can have 3 streams of income for each of those areas. I'm going to make sure they're also beginner rules. Let's say data. How do you build 3 streams of income from just being a data analyst? If you're a cybersecurity analyst, how do you build 3 streams of income from that? If you are a DevOps engineer or a developer, how do you build streams of income? Because one thing with tech is that tech is very wide, tech is very diverse. So most of the times, even when you fall into this trap or that you're a freelancer, you might have a client this month and you're not going to have a client in the next 3 months. It's not going to be easy for you. So in that live session, I'm going to share how do you overcome that. And the only way to overcome that is to have multiple streams of income within the choosing career path that you have taken. So you in a career path, you can have 3 or 5 streams of income. Typically, you are doing the same job, you are doing the same thing, but you have 5 ways you can have cash flow. Okay, just to announce to you, from November, our career live stream sessions, we are going to be offering scholarships to attendees because we are starting our remote internship from next month. Like I said, it's going to be on data, on cloud, on cybersecurity, on IT project management and BA, then on digital marketing, affiliate marketing, SEO. Those are the 5 areas that we are going to be starting in November, right? And as we start the awareness campaign on either Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to put the scheduled live on the channel. So if you don't like the channel, make sure you do that so that once we go live, you are aware. We're going to hold that either on Saturday or Sunday. Then we will start the awareness campaign for that. Then we will now commence the remote sessions from next week. What we're going to be doing is that for each of the live sessions that we're going to be holding, we're going to be giving out scholarships. Most of our trainings are valued $100 and above, like the smallest training that we have. If you go to Southern Ventures, check our courses page, you will see our curriculum, our course content, and all of that. So it's not so pricey, but it costs money to attend our mentorship class. If you check the channel, we have quite a lot of the trainings any company can give to you. We have them free. So most of the things we do in our training sessions are basically hands-on labs and mentorship. That's what we do. So we don't go through slides, we don't go through theory. We're just going to, if you're doing data, you should be working on projects. If you're doing cybersecurity, you should be working on hands-on labs and projects. If you're doing cloud, projects. So because that's what differentiates you from the other guy. That's why for the past 2-3 years, I've taken time, released all the stuff that has to do with theory, foundation on the channel. So in the internships or in the live classes or in the physical classes, we will just deal with hands-on. So make sure that you tell your friends. We're going to have early birds announcement weekend. The sessions are going to start from next month. Then maybe 2-3 times every week, we're going to hold career sessions. And in those career sessions, we're going to be giving out scholarships, or we're going to be giving out discounts for our remote sessions. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section. It's time to go to bed. Questions? Let me know. So in those live sessions, our top fans, we're going to be giving maybe recharge cards, scholarships, amazing offers we're going to be giving out in our live session. So we want to make sure that people understand what it means to do tech and actually succeed. Like for me, for instance, I've done tech for quite a while, and what my interest is now is just to make sure that people don't just get this, you have a lot of trainings, you have a lot of seminars, you have a lot of webcasts. Those things don't help. What actually is going to help you is anything that can help you learn the role, anything that can help you. One of my students attended our internship. We have an alumni group, so I posted a job vacancy somebody sent to me to the group. He sent me he sent me his CV, told me to vet it. I checked it. I gave him so many corrections to the CV because that cannot fly. I do recruitment. I have a lot of people that if I see that CV, delete. I will not even keep it in the mailbox. Delete. Once it just lands, you see it in the pool. You just delete it. So you want to make sure that you stand a chance to work with clients. Okay, in the absence of none, see you guys in the next live session. Peace out.